I hope you enjoyed reading that blog post. I'm sure many of you are thinking to yourself, what is Jared talking about? A prune, constipation, what does this have to do with my identity? It has everything to do with your identity. And if that's what you're saying to yourself, I want you to know that I've accomplished my goal. My goal is to break your pattern. Because if this truly resonated, it means that right now, in your life, you are constipated with emotions in a certain area. I don't know what it is for you, but you do. Because when you were reading this, you thought to yourself, oh my gosh, he's speaking directly to me. Because in my relationship or in my career, or even with my physical image, or my spirituality, or with my friends, or whatever it might be, I'm constipated with emotions. I'm not able to communicate how I feel because it's all pent up inside. That's why this message resonated, and that's why you're thinking to yourself, maybe this prune strategy will work. Well, I spoke about my grandmother and how she broke down in tears. She couldn't even control herself because she was so constipated with emotion for so long now that this was her opportunity to let it out into the world, and she did it, and that's why she felt better. There's no shame in crying. There's no shame in yelling, and there's no shame in laughing. Figure out what it is for you to alleviate whatever is inside, those emotions that need to be secreted to the world. They can't be inside because they're going to fester in your existence. I know it's funny. I know the concept of taking a prune to cure constipation is something that we all talk about at some point when we struggle with that in that area. But ultimately, the same goes for your emotions. If you're constipated with your emotions, follow those 5 steps. Eat a prune every day if that's what it needs. And what I want you to remember is there's no shame in crying, and there's no shame in yelling, and there's no shame in laughing. Emotions equal life. We were born to be emotional. We don't need to be stoic and put on a front for the world to see when internally we're tearing ourselves up. Allow the world to see the authentic you, what goes on the inside. Have faith, have trust, and believe that whoever you're showing this to is going to accept it, because in turn, they've also eaten a prune that day, and they're willing to share their emotions with you. This is an unbelievable connection that will take place. I'm going to go into great detail on this concept in other areas. One is definitely within relationships, when I publish an article about the 5 languages of love. Why do most relationships fail? Because there's a barrier between where one person is and where the other person is, and that barrier is preventing communication. Communication of emotions. It's not just the verbal I love yous, it's the nonverbal stuff that means something paramount in that relationship. So I'm just tapping on that subject. I'm really not going to talk about relationships right now, but ultimately, figure out what this message meant to you. Figure out where it resonated, and wherever it was, whatever area of your life that was for you, take a prune today, consume it, secrete it, and get rid of those emotions. Because being constipated with emotions is the most uncomfortable position to be in life. Emotions equal life. It's time to live like you've never lived before. Have a wonderful day.